Hello dear viewer, welcome back to the channel. I'm Omar with Patterson Autos, and today we're talking about one of my favorite handling cars in the Mazda lineup. Not the Hyundai Miata, but the new CX-70/CX-90, which is the biggest offering in the lineup, but it's also the most Miata-like car in the lineup. And I know, you're gonna fight me on this, but we're not talking about size, we're talking about handling characteristics, the science behind it, and what makes this drive feel so good. Let's go. First, let's talk about the essence behind the driving dynamics in both of these cars. That's Jinba Ittai, Japanese for horse and rider is one, and that is Mazda's philosophy for the way that every car should drive. The more connected that you are to the car, the less correction that you have to do, the less driver input to get to your intended trajectory. Something along those lines. And as you know, the sizes of these cars vary a lot, but this shares a lot of DNA with the Miata, starting with this very long wheelbase and short overhangs at both ends. Yes, the Miata has a short wheelbase, but it's a very short car, so proportionately, it's a long wheelbase to me, and those short overhangs carry over. While the Miata is the only rear-wheel drive car in the lineup right now, this is an all-wheel drive system that is rear-wheel biased, as opposed to the front-wheel bias systems in the rest of the SUVs. This is more beneficial for towing and for just driving around in general. If you think about it, every time that you accelerate, all of that weight is transferred to the rear, so this is where you're going to have the most grip. Prime for acceleration. If you want to come back to the Miata, I want to show you a couple things under the hood. Now, the Miata only has a 4-cylinder Skyactiv engine, which cranks out 181 horses, plenty of power for a car this size, certainly not for a car that size. What it does share is that the engine is longitudinally mounted, and the benefit of that is that it opens up these spaces so that you can have a front double wishbone suspension, making for a really tight turning radius and really great handling. So that front double wishbone suspension you'll find in the CX-70, the CX-90, and in your favorite Porsche. Now, if you come to the CX-70, I want to show you a bit of a plot twist. I mentioned the Miata has a 4-cylinder engine, and surprise, this does too. That's because I didn't grab the inline-6, that car was dirty. This is the plug-in hybrid CX-70, which has the benefit of 490 miles of range and a lower center of gravity, so it actually corners a little bit better. I still prefer the more linear acceleration and the gearing that I'm used to in that inline-6, but it's worth talking about. You've got choices. Kinematic Posture Control is the secret formula for how this car drives so well. But before we talk about that technology, we should talk about how we got there. Pretend this is a front-wheel drive car, or a front-wheel-based all-wheel drive car. When you have the front wheels driving the car, that's where you're going to need the most grip. And so when you're going around a turn, G-vectoring control is listening to your steering input. So when you're turning, it's going to reduce the engine torque to transfer that load to the front where you need it most. And that's a wonderful technology that doesn't require any additional hardware, but the problem is that it doesn't transfer well to our rear-wheel drive cars because that rear suspension has some anti-dive and anti-squat technology that brings the rear end down, and so things can get squirrely. Anyway, enter Kinematic Posture Control, which, unlike G-vectoring control, it does not closely listen to your steering input. It's actually paying attention to your rear tires, because as you turn, your rear tires are going to turn at different speed. And based on that difference in speed, it's going to drag the inside rear brake to pinch you into that corner and keep the suspension mid-stroke where it is the most happy and has the most room for movement. And that system behaves almost mechanically because it applies that force proportionately according to the difference in the wheel speed, which gives you really flat handling. And in the Miata, it's so good at this point that they removed the rear sway bar. And the benefit of not having that rear sway bar, both in this car and in the Miata, is that you get that great handling dynamic when you're taking a turn without sacrificing the ride quality. And we're back at Tustin Mazda, which is fine. I'm not sour about it. I actually wanted to come here anyway so that I could pick up that inline-6 for the test drive. Don't laugh at my parking job. I typically drive a Miata. Home sweet home. So, in a nutshell, Kinematic Posture Control is a secret sauce with very simple ingredients. All it's doing is paying attention to that rotational difference at the rear tires and applying a little bit of braking force to keep you going around that corner perfectly. Secret sauce is out, so the other manufacturers just have to copy it. It probably just won't be as good. Speaking of other manufacturers, the last thing that I want to point out is our superior all-wheel drive system, which is going to distribute the torque based on where the load and weight is going. So there's a 3-axis G sensor here, and based on where the car is going, the car knows, hey, this tire is going to have the most weight on it. That's the one that we want to send the most power to because that's where you'll have the most grip. So that system is predictive rather than reactive, and you'll find it across all of our SUVs. You don't have to have that kinematic posture control. It's still going to be an awesome all-wheel drive system. And I say that it's predictive, not just reactive. It's still going to be reactive. So if there's some odd situation where oil just came out of nowhere, it'll be really quick to send power to the slipping wheel. If you're ready to drive the CX-70 or a CX-30 or a CX-5 or the CX-50, come visit us at Tustin Mazda. We'll be happy to take excellent care of you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna grab that inline six and go for a drive.